Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about airbrush and all about the system that I use, which is the Temptu cordless airbrush machine. So I always get a lot of questions whether I prefer traditional or airbrush, and honestly it just depends. I feel like if you're going to be in a very humid climate and if you need it to be very long lasting, I would recommend the airbrush, although I feel like both my traditional and airbrush application are very lightweight and both are very long lasting. So I've had clients who actually have done the traditional option first and then came in for the airbrush, and some end up just sticking back with the traditional, or others actually end up, choosing the airbrush. So it is down to personal preference. So the first thing that I want to talk about is some of the features of the Temptu cordless system. So here you have your charging entry. So it's pretty much like a USB cable, and you plug it in through this little opening here, if you guys can see it. And I just leave it to charge overnight, and I find that that pretty much lasts me for about... Depends how often you do airbrush. I don't do it that often, so it lasts me actually quite a while. Next would be your power button, which if you just press and hold, it turns on. And then you have level 1, which is low pressure, level 2, which is a medium pressure, and then level 3, which is high pressure. So to turn it off, just hold it down and it turns it off. Next, you have your trigger button up here. So once it's on, you hold the trigger button and you wiggle it back and forth, and that is what is going to allow the product to dispense out of the chamber. Your next feature is the opening to the AirPod. So you just pull off the plastic little top and then you drop in the airbrush makeup here. The AirPod is removable, so to remove it, you actually just hold the release button and you just slide it out. And then to put it back in, you hold the release button and then you just slide it back in. And then you have your needle here where the product is dispensed out. So some quick tips for using the Temptu is to buy extra AirPods. I know when I first started off with airbrush, I had these traditional SB foundations. So now Temptu actually has the AirPods that are full with your makeup, so you don't have to have both of these. I just bought an extra AirPod so that I can switch back and forth from either like a darker color or a lighter color, or if I'm going from blush to highlight, whatever it is, I can just easily switch it out, pop in a new one instead of wasting time cleaning it, because you do have to clean it after every application to make sure that there's no product that will get stuck there or that it'll just harden up, and then you'll cause a blockage and product won't be able to come out of the AirPods. So once you have your face prepped, prep it as usual, your moisturizer, primer, everything. You move on to color correcting if you have to. I know that I do have dark circles, so I'll go ahead and color correct first, and then I'll conceal with traditional creamer liquid any little imperfections that you might have, so maybe some blemishes or your dark circles. And then from there you would proceed to the airbrush application. So once you are going to start with your airbrush application, you want to make sure that you're holding the gun about maybe 3 inches away from the face. And then once you start pumping out the product by pressing the trigger button back and forth, you want to make sure that you're going in circular motions so that you're getting an even, smooth coverage. So let's say you hold it real close and you're just pulling down that trigger button and you're just focusing on one spot. What that is going to do is cause a lot of the pigment to just build up in that one area, and it won't be able to smooth over into the rest of the face. So you're just gonna have little blotches in the application. So I think that pretty much wraps up the introduction to the Temptu airbrush system, and also some tips and tricks into using airbrush, whether you're a makeup artist or a you know, client that just wants to maybe try it out. So let's go ahead and jump into the demo, and I hope you guys enjoy it.